Hello everyone, my name is Irene Butis, and for the continuation of our report with my partner, Ma'am Di Mamay, which is all about the Article 14 of the Philippine Constitution. So my partner reported about education and language. So as for me, I'll be reporting about science and technology, arts and culture, and sports. So now let's start from the science and technology. So it is clearly stated from the Article 14, Section 10, science and technology are essential for national development and progress. The state shall give priority to research and development, invention, innovation, and their utilization, and to science and technology education, training, and services. It shall support indigenous, appropriate, and self-reliant scientific and technological capabilities and their application to the country's productive system and national life. So this session is mainly all about the development of technology for our country. So it's all about the innovation, the invention, and it focuses on the researches, of course, in science. So why? Because we all know the importance of technology in our human life, especially during this pandemic. I know every one of us really do appreciate technology. So that is why the Philippine government really includes this in the Philippine Constitution so that every Filipino citizens will be educated about technology. Okay, so now let's proceed to the section 11. It is stated here that the Congress may provide for incentives, including tax deductions, to encourage private participation in programs of basic and applied scientific research, scholarships, grant in aid, or other forms of incentives shall be provided to deserving science students, researchers, scientists, inventors, technologists, and specially gifted citizens. Okay, so section 11 is all about the scholarships. Okay, so that is why we have DOST scholars here in the Philippines. You know, we all have DOST researches. It is for the development of the country. It is for the growth of the country. Of course, to support, about science and technology. It is for every one of us. Okay? Now let's proceed to section 12. Okay, it is clearly stated that the state shall regulate the transfer and promote the adaptation of technology from all sources for the national benefit. It shall encourage the widest participation of private groups, local governments, and community-based organizations in the generation and utilization of science and technology. Okay, so section 12 is all about innovation and invention. Like, for example, if someone discovered a thing or invented a thing, like, for example, let's say in medical fields, if one doctor discovers that, oh, this plant will be good for our health whatsoever. For example, in COVID-19, that says that a Filipino doctor discover a thing like, or a plant that this plant will be a cure for the COVID-19. So the Philippine government has the right to use or adapt that particular discovery by that certain Filipino. And that certain Filipino has no right to decline. Or for example, if that Filipino will say, "Oh no, because this is my discovery. I will not share it to anyone." No, she cannot, or he or she cannot do that because we have this Philippine, or we have this in the Philippine Constitution that the government has the right to use or adapt that discovery or invention, especially for the benefits of everyone. Okay, now let's proceed to section 13. The state shall protect and secure the exclusive rights of scientists, inventors, artists, and other gifted citizens through their intellectual property and creation, particularly when beneficial to the people for such period as may be provided by the law. Okay, so Section 13 is basically all about the right of all the scientists and inventors. So the government must protect and or secure their works and inventions as it was, stated from the Philippine Constitution. So now let's proceed to arts and culture. Okay, so in section 14, it is stated the state shall foster the preservation, enrichment, and dynamic evolution of a Filipino national culture based on the principle of unity in diversity in a climate of free artistic and intellectual expression. Okay, so section 14 is all about the preservation of the Philippine culture. Now let's proceed to section 15. Arts and letters shall enjoy the patronage of the state. The state shall conserve, promote, and popularize the nation's historical and cultural heritage and resources, as well as the artistic creations. In section 15, the it's all about to promote and popularize our own historical culture, our heritage. Ika nga, tangkilikin ang sariling atin. Okay? Now let's proceed to section 16. All the country's artistic and historic wealth constitutes the cultural treasure of the nation and shall be under the protection of the state, which may regulate its disposition. Section 16 is all about the cultural treasure. So like for example, if somebody will discover a treasure, the Philippine government has the right to preserve that. So that is why we all have a museum, right? Now let's proceed to section 17. The state shall recognize, respect, and protect the rights of indigenous cultural communities to preserve and develop their cultures, traditions, and institutions. It shall consider these rights in the formulation of national plans and policies. Alright, in section 17, it's all about to protect the right of our cultural communities. Like for example, our Aitas, Ilocanos, Manyan, even our brothers and sisters, Muslims, the state or the Philippine government must protect their cultures, their traditions, as it is written in the Philippine Constitution. That is why in education, no one is allowed to force them to change, like to change their culture, to change their belief, or to change their tradition. So, as for the teachers, you are not allowed to tell your student, for example, your Tausug student, your Muslim student, you are not allowed to tell them that, oh, you must do this, you must not do that anymore. Because we are now in 2021, okay? So, you are not allowed to do that because they have their own tradition, they have their own cultures, and you have to respect that. Aside from respect, it is also written in the Philippine Constitution. All right. Now let's proceed to section 18. First, the state shall ensure equal access to cultural opportunities through the educational system. Public or private cultural entities, scholarships, grants and other incentives, and community cultural centers in other public venues. Second, the state shall encourage and support researches and studies on the arts and culture. Section 18, again, it's all about preservation of our own cultures and traditions. So that is why we are encouraged to study our own cultures. Now let's talk about sports. In section 19, first, the state shall promote physical education an encouraged sports program, league competitions, and amateur sports, including training for international competitions to foster self-discipline, teamwork. All educational institutions shall undertake regular sports activities throughout the country in cooperation with athletic clubs in other sectors. So basically, Section 18 is all about physical education, sports. Okay, we're talking about sports here, of course. So it's all about self development in a person. It is included in the Philippine Constitution so that every Filipino citizen will develop self-discipline, teamwork, and of course, a healthy lifestyle. To sum it up, it is very important for us to learn this Article 14 of the Philippine Constitution, especially for the children. They must know the right of, quality education. As for the teachers, it is very important for them to be reminded to always integrate language, science and technologies, arts and cultures, and sports in the learning process of the students. That is why we all have this palakasan, division meet. We all have these intramurals in the schools. For them, for the students to be developed, fully develop their talents and their sports. Before I end this report, allow me to read a quote from Mustafa Kemal. A good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. I know that teaching is not easy. In fact, it is very tiring job. But I hope you will be reminded by that quote that a lot of people are grateful for your life. I believe that you became a teacher for a reason. That God or Allah gave you that blessing because He knows that you can light hundreds of people's lives. Thank you so much for listening to our report.